Hi, good afternoon, Aaron. Just wanted to make this video so you could see kind of some of the things I'm looking at when I'm looking at the digital presence for best deal movers and what would be some of my priorities going into the new year. So the first part of this video, I'm going to focus on SEO. That's something that we discussed quite a bit during our last call, and just wanted to make sure that you are aware of some of the things going on with the website, and you'll have the information you need to take next steps. So the first thing I noticed. In this tool, it's called Neil Patel's Uber Suggest. It's a free tool. You can even run it on your side. One of the things I noticed is that the site speed could stand to be improved. And site speed, it's really important not only for SEO, Google uses it as one of its ranking factors, but also you have to think if someone is on their phone or at their desk and they're looking for a website, looking for a mover, you want that site to load as quickly as possible and to be as easy to use as possible. And so when I look at your site speed, desktop, it's, definitely could use some improvement. I would like to see that closer to 3 seconds or preferably under 3 seconds. But mobile speed, you're already here on the low end of poor. And so mobile is very important because as you probably have known or have seen when you try to go to a website on mobile and it's really slow, that can be a little bit irritating. So, what I would do is definitely focus on these areas for the website. Now, as far as the uh, kind of some of the details here, really what you want to go for here is first contentful paint and time to interactive. And ideally, these would be under 2 seconds or less. And basically those, if you load a page, the top part is going to load before the bottom part. It pretty much loads in order. And so you want to make sure that that top part loads as quickly as possible. And really the best practice is, 1 to 2 seconds, but no more than 2 seconds. So I think this is something that we can definitely partner up with Scott and have him take a look at how we can improve the site speed for better performance, and indirectly it would have a beneficial impact on the site's SEO. Now, some other issues I saw, I would say the big one here is there are pages with low word count. So you see some here that are, they're just basically city pages or city landing pages. And on average, a page that's ranking at the top of Google is going to be 2,200 words. And you can see here in the right-hand column, these numbers are nowhere near that. So, there are a few things to think about here. So, first thing I would consider is, are these actual locations that are high priority? Because if they are, then it would be worth the time investment to create more content that targets each of these locations. So for instance, maybe the first month when you're doing this, you look at Cherokee County and Cobb County, and you work on adding more content to those pages so that they rank well, they rank better in Google. What to consider here is if they're already ranking, then it might not be worth the effort. If you're already ranking, I would say in the top 5 positions for any of these locations, then it might not be worth it to add more content to the page unless you had a new competitor that came into the area and started outranking you. But just so you know, these are some things that we're finding here. And I'm also seeing some of these pages might not need to be indexed. So index simply means that the page actually shows up in a search engine. So all of these pages are indexed. So sometimes you're going to have pages on your website that you don't want indexed. So for instance, the sitemap page, you might not want that index. The testimonials page, definitely you want that index. The thank you page, you probably don't want that index, because you have to think about it like this. If someone was to see this page in the Google search results. So let's just say the thank you page, we found that in the Google search results. What value is that adding for them? Really, the thank you page is confirmation that they have submitted their information, and it's just confirmation that that transaction has gone through successfully. It really has no value if someone doesn't or has not submitted their information. So kind of just thinking about that, but I really would no index these two pages, sitemap and thank you page. Now going back to the main report here, and I'll make sure to send over some screenshots so you can review this before our meeting. There are 88 warnings, and these aren't high priority. They're not going to have as much of an impact on your site's SEO, but let's take a look at them anyway. So I would say probably what's most important here are the 2 pages while a H1 tag. And let's see what the actual issue is here. And so it looks like there might be a home page that maybe it's an old home page or something, but it's probably not that important. And then there's top benefits of doing household inventory quick and easy. So not quite sure what that is, but again, it might not be a high priority page. But nevertheless, typically when we do on-page SEO, pretty much everything besides the pages with a low word count, because that would require additional content, we go through and clean up issues like these. Okay, so what I will do, I will send over a list of these, this list here, so you can see what are actual issues, and then you can actually see the SEO impact. So it's either high, medium, or low. Going back to our main page here, so it looks like that's everything here. Another thing I look at are your site's backlinks. So we go back to the main dashboard. So for your backlinks, these are pretty much a count of the websites that are linking back to the Best Deal Movers website. So these two numbers are a bit different. So these are the total number of backlinks to your site. So let's say if there's one site that linked to the Best Deal Mover site 3 times, it would count each of those links. Whereas referring domains, that denotes the number of websites that are linking back to you. So going back to our example, if you have one website that's linking to you 3 times, it will count as 3. It will double count, or in this case, triple count here in this count, but it will only count each unique website here. So to break down SEO to its most simplest form, the first part is on-page SEO, so fixing those issues that we just went over. The second part is link building, off-page SEO. So kind of looking at the sites that are linking to you, these are really high-quality sites. You have Yahoo here, Eventbrite, so it looks like something that Mary did some time ago, 2017. You have some good local links here, but typically what I would do is first, and I'll go into this next, look at the keywords that you want to target. If you're not already ranking in the top 5 for any of those keywords, then just kind of do a backlink audit of those competitor websites. And you're going to have sites like Yelp or Yellow Pages or other sites like that, but you really only want to focus on actual moving company websites. That will give you a good gauge on where you should go with your link building strategy. And then after that, just pretty much replicate their strategy. So go after the links or the websites that are linking to them if possible. So I'm kind of going over this in a vacuum, but that's really how you would use this information. So let's say, just for instance, that you really wanted to rank for Atlanta moving company, yeah, and you're number 6, and you see that your site has 76 referring domains, while the average for the top 5 is 100. So what that would tell you is that you actually need to add more backlinks to your backlink profile, at least 25, so that you're at that average number. Another thing that you want to look at for your SEO is the domain score. So the higher your domain score, the easier SEO becomes. So let's say if you look at a website like Forbes, they can publish a topic on pretty much, or publish an article on pretty much any topic, and within a day it's going to be on the first page of Google. Why? Because they have such a high domain score. That pretty much indicates your website's trustworthiness. Whereas with a domain score of 9, which isn't bad, but let's say again, if you're looking at competitors who have much higher domain scores, it's going to be that much more difficult to outrank them. So that's something to consider. And typically that's the second part of our SEO audit, looking more closely at your competitors and seeing what insights we can gain from their SEO strategy. Now going back to the main dashboard here, keywords. So let's take a look at keywords. And I think this is a very important part of any SEO, really any digital marketing strategy. We're already using or spend a lot of our time on keywords for the paid campaign, but it's also very important for SEO. So I don't know what's going on here. Let's see. Here we go. Of course, it's going to ask me this while I'm filming. Okay, so I'll also send over a screenshot of this information, but this pretty much tells you which keywords the website is ranking for organically. So when I say organically, I mean pretty much anything under the ads here. So yeah, all of these different search results are what we call organic search listings. And so when you see a site ranking well for a particular phrase in this section, that means that their SEO is really optimized for that phrase. So going back to the report here, you have a few key columns here. You have the search volume. So this is the average monthly search volume for that phrase. And I'm pretty sure this is considering all of the US, not just the Alpharetta area, because I know there are other Best Deal Mover franchises in other cities. Position. So this is the average position of the website in the search results. And then the estimated number of visits for that particular phrase. And then SD, that just stands for SEO difficulty. So if you were trying to improve your rank for that particular phrase, on a scale of 0 to 100, with 0 being the easiest, 100 being the most difficult, it'll tell you how difficult it is to improve your rank for that keyword. So the way I look at this, of course, you want to go after phrases that have a good search volume, but there are a few other things you need to consider here. All of these phrases you might be ranking for accidentally, so they really might not be very important as far as to the business, but it just happens that the website is ranking for them. Pretty much because of any content that you already have on a website, Google has associated that content with one of these phrases. So what the phrases that I really like to go after, if you think about how the search engine results page is structured, so typically there are going to be 10 listings here or so on the first page for organic. So your goal with SEO is to get onto the first page, and then once you're on the first page, get up into the top 5 or so, with one obviously being the ultimate goal. So what I look for are those phrases where, with a little tender love and care on the SEO front, we can push them onto the first page or push them into that top 5. So with that said, some of the phrases I would prioritize would be Alpharetta movers. You see it's number 6. Internal movers, I'm not sure how relevant that is, but you see it does have 1,900 searches per month. Some other phrases here, moving companies in Alpharetta, Georgia, I think that would be very relevant. It can be very beneficial. But really look at some of these that are like number 11, number 12, number 13. That means that they're on the top of page 2, and if you kind of just push them a little bit, you can get them onto page 1. So number 11 for Atlanta garage sales, not very important. Vaulted storage, that may be a good phrase to go after. Your number 16, so middle of second page. Moving out of parents' house checklist, that's a good one. Your number 11, so with a little focus on that phrase, you can, potentially get onto page 1. And I pretty much would go down that list, and it's pretty much balancing 3 things here: search volume, current position in Google, and then the actual potential impact on the business. So you can imagine if you were to go for movers in Alpharetta, Georgia, you're number 9. If you could push that to the top 3, that could really have a major impact on your ROI from SEO. I pretty much would go down the list in that manner. So that's pretty much your keywords. So really where I could use your input is, what are maybe the top 5 to 10 keywords? And I'll send this list over that you would want to go after for your SEO, and where are you ranking? How can we get those phrases more visibility, or get the website more visibility for those phrases would be the next step here. So that pretty much covers this report. There are a few more technical things. So I was kind of just looking at something called structured data on your website. And it looks like there is some there by default, maybe because of the theme that you're using. But what I would recommend, at least on most of your most important pages, you're going to have the web page schema, but also to add the local business schema and the service schema. And pretty much what this tells the Google algorithm, it gives it more contextual information about your business. So when we look at a website, we see this, all of the pictures, all of the video and text here. When a Google bot, that's what they call the computers that review your site, when they look at your website, they see this. And so when you add this structured schema, this rich snippet, and here's an example here, so you can kind of see the different parameters. It's basically giving Google and other search engines as well more information about your business, more contextual information about your business in a way that they can interpret it. And that's really, in a nutshell, what schema does for your site. So it's kind of like, once you clean up some of these more foundational SEO issues that we've gone over, then I would take a look at things like this, where, you're at 90% with your SEO optimization. That's how you can get to 95 or higher %. So that pretty much covers the on-page piece of the SEO review. Now, kind of looking at link building. So one thing, since you are a business that serves a local area, one thing you always want to keep in mind are your local citations. And citations, that's just a fancy word for your business listings on sites like Yahoo, Facebook, Bing, Yelp, and so on. And really what you want to do here, first you want to make sure that you have a listing on each of the important websites, and you also want to confirm that all of your information is accurate and consistent. So when I ran this report, I saw that there were a few listings. Super Pages would be one example, where your address is showing as 1360 Union Hill Road. And maybe this is an old address, but wherever the case, you can see here it's marking it as the wrong address. You want to make sure that you update it to the correct 3615 Francis Circle address. And really, when you're looking at this from the Google bot perspective, it throws up red flags, because if your address on one of these websites is 3615 Francis Circle, but on another website is 1316 Union Hill, it takes away from the credibility of your business as far as, when we're looking in the online online world, where why do you have two addresses? Are you really a legitimate business? If so, then your address should be the same across the board, not different on different websites. So that's one important thing you want to look at for your local SEO. And so if you do have access to any of these profiles, I understand some of these may have been created years ago, and whoever created them, maybe they're no longer with the team. But we want to make sure that these are all accurate. And this is another one, 2016 Atlanta Highway. So you can see here just different issues. So I'll send a screenshot of this over so you can have a look before our call tomorrow. And then finally, just looking at the website. Actually, there was one thing I wanted to look at before that. So when I Google your business, of course, when we're looking at the ads, you want to make sure we follow through with that Google Guaranteed program, because as you can see, those ads, they are at the very top of the list. So just a great way to increase your visibility, and it will allow you to really get more clicks and go as more calls and jobs by having a Google Guaranteed ad. Now, the reason why I came to this page, see here on the right-hand side, this is called your Google My Business profile. And for the most part, you guys are doing really well. 222 Google reviews, that's fantastic. So I can definitely tell that you all take that, place high importance on getting those reviews. And you have a really good rating to show for it. Some people might think, okay, a 4.4 isn't great, but think about this. If you have 222 customers reviewing you, what's the likelihood that all 222 would give you 5 stars? Not very likely. So actually, when you're kind of in that 4.4 to 4.8 range, it actually looks more realistic, because every customer is not going to be a happy customer. That's just the reality of being in business. So just something to think about there. One thing that you could do to get more traction from your Google My Business profile is that anytime you post something on your blog, or even I saw a few things on your Facebook page, make sure that you're also posting them here on your Google My Business post. So I don't have access to this from my account, but there is a module in the back end of Google My Business. So if you just go to business.google.com, you will be able to see this, and you have to make sure that you're logged into whichever email address has admin access. So I'll just take a look here at a moving company I work with here in Houston, kind of give you an idea. So once you're in the back end, you're going to go to post. You can see here, this is pretty much a Google My Business post, and I would recommend posting to this platform at least once a week. And you don't have to create original posts. You can take something that you posted on Facebook, and when you post it on Facebook, post it here as well. I would say when you're posting in your actual post content, try to target phrases that you want to go after, like Alpharetta Movers, Alpharetta Moving Company, and phrases like that. Now moving back over to your Google My Business profile. So you definitely want to get your Angie's List review rating up. That definitely stands out. I didn't notice that before, but it definitely stands out. Movers, probably want to get that closer to a 4.4, 4.5 like you have on your Home Advisor and your Best Deal Movers. But I would say, when you're looking at where to get reviews, you always want to make Google My Business a top priority, because that's the first thing someone sees when they Google your business. But then kind of look at some of these websites where you need some help. So for right now, I would prioritize Best Deal Movers, and then look at getting some better reviews on Angie's List. Now, one more thing, or actually two more things for your Google My Business profile. So the first thing here, looking at your reviews, it's great that you are responding to them. So you just want to make sure that you are responding to all reviews, not just It looks like whoever is managing this is responding to the positive reviews, but it's probably more important to respond to the negative reviews. So Helen, from about a month ago, she left you guys a 1 star, and whether this review was fair or not, you want to make sure that you respond to it. Because if someone's reading this, obviously this review is at the top, it's pretty recent. Um, just by having a response and maybe adding some clarity to the situation on why maybe there was a miscommunication or expectations may not have been met, it does show future potential customers that you are responsive and that you do care about customer satisfaction. So, I would make this one of my higher priority items, is actually going through here. I know there's a lot, but going through here and responding to each of the reviews. And I would prioritize these low star reviews first. And then one more thing for your Google My Business. And again, I can't see it from my end for your profile, but I know that your company, you all serve many different cities in the Alpharetta and Atlanta area. So you want to make sure that you're actually targeting all of these areas with your Google My Business profile. So you can either target by city or you can target by zip code. I don't really think either one would give you advantage over the other, but the most important thing is that you want to add these as target areas. So the way you would do that, when you're in the back end of your Google My Business profile, you're going to go to Info. You can see here, this guy, he's also a moving company here in Houston. You want to edit your service areas where you're pretty much going in here and you're adding each of those towns or each of those zip codes. That way you get more exposure to the surrounding areas, not just Alpharetta. Because the way it's set up now, your focal point is Alpharetta, and Google is really not going to consider you for any searches outside of Alpharetta proper. So that could really get you more visibility in some of these other areas. Now moving over to the website, and we're going over quite a bit so far in this video. But one of the main things, I know we talked about this last time, is your blog. So there are a couple of ways to think about this. So you can keep updating the blog, especially if you have relevant and useful information for your potential customers. So it looks like back in October you actually did 4, which is great. Or so you can maybe cut that in half, maybe do 2 blogs per month. And then for those other 2 blog articles, instead of writing blog articles, you focus on more what we call long form content. So I think I saw it was a checklist for people moving out of their parents' homes. So actually, instead of just writing that as a blog article, making it like a PDF. And that PDF you can share on your social media. You can put together a nice graphic for it with the title, with a nice design. Share that on your social media profiles. You can even share it here. And in order to download it, somebody would have to hand over their email address, or what may be more useful for you, their phone number. That's one way you can get people into your CRM without them actually signing on to become a customer. And then lastly, I did see that you do have a presence on Facebook. So I would just consider just posting a bit more frequently. I saw the last post was from earlier this month. So it seems like we're averaging about 1 to 2 posts per month, which is better than nothing. But I think since you are so local focused, that you want to be more visible here on Facebook. And a lot of people, they would actually go to Facebook to look for moving and storage solutions. So this could be a really good opportunity for you. And my intuition tells me that Facebook would be the most important social media platform for best deal movers. So That brings me to the end of the video. As I mentioned, I'll share some of these reports so you can have a look before our call tomorrow, and I look forward to speaking with you all. Take care. Have a great rest of your day.